So as Stacey mentioned, we are here to try and help you get connected and stay connected, learning about some opportunities within the millennial market. Now, before we get into that, some of you no doubt have heard of Foresters Financial. Some of you may be a little less familiar with us. And I think it's really important for you to understand who we are as an organization, because it really will underpin the premise of this whole presentation and beyond. So at Foresters Financial, we're what we consider a modern fraternal organization. So yes, we are an insurance company, but the structure behind it allows us to do things very differently. We like to think of ourselves as driven to share, not shareholder driven. Now, that kind of puts us in a not-for-profit structure, and it allows us to reinvest the profits we generate through the premiums that you as advisors help us obtain when you offer us to your clients into our members, your clients, communities where they live and work every day. And we have more than 2 million members across 3 countries. Quite a lot of people who even have heard of Foresters don't realize that, yes, we are a Canadian company, but we are also pretty significant organizations in the UK and the United States of America. So that picture you're seeing on your screen was the Foresters Financial head office that was in downtown Toronto. That picture was taken back in the 1800s. That was the tallest building in all of Canada, even North America at that time. It really helps to kind of underpin the point of who we are. So if your clients are not super sure about this, it's a brand they've maybe not heard of before, we have this very long history within the country, almost 150 years. But being around a long time, sure, that maybe builds a little bit of reputation. Okay, they've been around a while, they're still here, that's great. But will they be around for another 150 odd years? Because in fairness, when you offer our products, you're making on our behalf potentially some very long promises, decades depending on the product that you're offering. So it's fair for your client to want to know, okay, who are they? We know who they are. They do things a little bit differently, great, but are they going to be around for the long haul? Well, as you can see, we've had 21 consecutive years of an A excellent rating, significant assets and surplus, and a very, very healthy LICAT ratio of 192%, well above the average in Canada. And this is an important one for you to understand. Most insurers are actually starting to talk about this more and more over the last few years, Foresters being no different, because it's an important thing to measure how financially stable is this organization. And with a LICAT that strong, it is and hopefully enables you to have confidence if you choose to promote us moving forward to your clients, that we have the financial reserves to look after your clients when those promises come due. So with all that said, you're looking to develop your opportunities within the millennial market, that group falling in approximately the 25 to 40-year-old range. Now, this is without a doubt the first generation that was born and raised with the internet as a regular part of their lives. The stereotype would have us all believe that they just want to do things themselves when they want, without complications, no hassles. And sure, there's some element of truth to that, but let's not take the easy way out of this. All of us, regardless of our age, tend to have a similar view of things these days. We've all gotten very comfortable doing things when we want, as we want, how we want. And obviously with COVID, that just became very everyday present. We were forced to interact digitally in a lot more ways and using a lot more of our time. But at that same time, more and more people are realizing that they lack deep social connection. They are looking for ways to build community and create new and meaningful relationships. It takes a bit more work, a bit more time, but when you think back to the accomplishments that mattered most to you in life, I suspect you will find that they required the most effort and the most commitment to bring them to life. Life insurance has certainly become easier and easier to sell to clients as far as the process. We have e-apps, e-delivery, e-payments, pretty much e-everything. But it has not become any easier to find new clients, and more importantly, to develop those clients into long-lasting, genuine relationships that they can help you create a prosperous business long-term. As we rely on technology to get us through the day, we run the risk of clients simply becoming transactions. Now, transactions will not really help you create a stable foundation to build from. I want to show you how, with just a little extra time and attention to your new clients, you can provide them with genuine ways to improve their lives. You can be an integral reason why they, and you if you choose, can make meaningful differences in the communities you all live and work in turn creating longer lasting clients more inclined to refer others to you. So I'm going to propose two ways to find your first millennial client. One personal, the other digital. Both can complement each other. So let's define our terms. Personal would be a face-to-face interaction in person. Video calls do not fall into this for the purpose of this presentation. Digital, the use of technology as the primary tool for interaction, be it a business deal or a social interaction via various media platforms. It does not mean that the interaction is by default not personal, just that there is a technological intermediary between the parties involved. Since starting with Foresters almost 9 years ago, I have volunteered at a wide range of things, building playgrounds, running charity races, assembling backpacks for kids, food hampers for shelters, painting and decorating houses for homeless families with kids. Some have been through my Foresters membership and others have been unrelated, but all had a wide array of people attending of all ages and all backgrounds. The last few years, I have seen more young families coming. Parents wanting to show their children the value of giving to others and to help them appreciate the lives they live with food on their tables and a warm home to sleep in. Starting a conversation with people in a shared experience is much easier than cold calling. Resist the urge to offer your services to people up front. Instead, get to know them a bit. Ask about them and their reasons for being there. They usually will ask yours in return, and soon enough, the right opportunity will arrive to let them know what you do, and perhaps how it inspired you to volunteer and give back. How many people have you helped with a critical illness claim, but then you saw the treatments they had to go through as part of their healing journey? So you chose to volunteer at an event for, say, cancer fundraising, or creating care kits for families who are dealing with that healing journey, and that had no financial safety net in place at the time. Let's watch a video that shows the wide range of ages that do come out and volunteer. Now, this particular project was to help refresh a building that provides a home environment for single mothers. It's based right next door to a school that has set up classrooms specifically for these mums so they can actually bring their infants along with them while they are being taught. And when they return home, they have their own bedrooms and a shared kitchen and a living room space. Now, we came in and we repainted the walls, we cooked and prepared several meals, we created artwork to decorate and many other projects to help them out. Now, what I want you to do is focus on the volunteers. Do they look like they might be in the millennial demographic? Young families with kids that may need to consider your services. Let's take a look together. You do good by others, you're going to do good by yourself. Get yourself out of your own headspace and you just give back. And by the end of the day, it more often than not changes your outlook. You get that smile on your face, you feel good. Simple as that. Amy and myself, we both want our boys to be able to go out into the community, be safe, have fun. So to be able to be part of something like Foresters, where it's so easy to be a part of a community. So as they move out, as they grow up, they take that with them. But for them to get to be a part of that and start to learn that you're building a wider community, you're meeting people you typically just don't get to meet. And over time, you're building a community within that because you get to see them again and you build new friendships and it just spirals out from there. So yeah, it's really good. Why would you not want to do this? Did you notice the wide range of age groups, in particular, just how many children there were, again, of different ages, all interested in coming along and making a difference? People that you, if you had been there, could have interacted with a shared experience and created a meaningful connection that can develop into more later on. Let's take a look at the digital interaction aspect of this. So perhaps share on social media what you were doing in your volunteer activity. It's not grandstanding or showing off. It's about encouraging others to get involved with things you also care about. Find out who is interacting with the post and now make an actual call to them to invite them to the next event or to ask about their own reasons for commenting. You can begin with simply sharing stories and content about various topics your audience may be interested in if you haven't yet had an opportunity to get involved in your community from a volunteer aspect. If you need help with content, perhaps take a look at both the Canada Protection Plan and Foresters financial blog sites. We can get you the links to those if you're interested. There are plenty of articles on there from financial topics, but also to lifestyle to share directly on your own platforms. But remember, the key is not just to post and hope. The key is to post and then add the personal touch to those that interact with it. If you can call them, awesome, do that. But if you don't have their number, perhaps message them direct through the system you use to get that conversation beginning. So you have your first potential client. Now what? Relax. I'm not going to tell you how to do your job, doing a deep needs analysis, or really what products to pick. Instead, let's just explore the case study of a young millennial couple that engaged with you, maybe through one of the two previous methods, and walk through their lives as your clients, because you're not going to sell them a product, right? And then never talk to them again. You're not interested in transactions. You want to form the foundations for growth. So please meet Mary and Joe. Mary and Joe got married 4 years ago and have since been saving for their first down payment on their new townhome. As we all know, home prices have risen much faster than many can save towards, and Mary and Joe really no exception. They have managed to save $35,000, which amounts to 10% of the $350,000 purchase price of their townhome. But good news for them is that Joe's parents have agreed to loan them the other $35,000 needed to get to the 20% so they can avoid the CMHC premiums. They are now both 30 years old and they have a mortgage balance of $280,000. They would like to cover this with life insurance. They're on a 25-year mortgage like many and expect to start a family in the next few years. You suggest they maybe opt for a term 30 for $100,000 with a term 20 rider for $400,000. This gives them enough to cover the mortgage over the duration, with some additional coverage in place now for the expected needs of a larger family in the near future, plus the ability to repay Joe's parents if something happened. They also like the idea of a small term 20 critical illness plan of $25,000 each, just in case. And very importantly, it fits within their total budget. As you can see, around $85 in total for $500,000 of life insurance each and $25,000 of critical illness each. Now, I suspect many of you are going, $500,000 and $25,000, that's not enough. And you're very likely right. When you do your needs analysis with clients like this, I'm sure it shows well in excess of $1 million. The simple truth of the matter is with home buyers who are first on this property ladder, they're nervous about spending too much. They're not yet used to all those added expenses that they're starting to become aware of. And oftentimes they'll play it safe. They'll keep their budgets manageable. And that's life. That's okay. We're going to journey with them. In this particular case, you likely offered them some permanent insurance, maybe some whole life. But as much as they understood your suggestions, again, the budgets just don't go that far. And it's a common problem. But not to worry. We'll address that in the future. So let's take the first step in moving from transaction to developing a client. Don't worry, it's meant to be a blue box. As you begin the application process, digital or paper with Mary and Joe, you can let them know that there is a really nice bonus offered at no extra cost to them from the company they're applying with. It's called the charity benefit. If they want to, they can name a registered Canadian charity as the beneficiary of a bonus payment if either one of them passed away. This is paid over and above the death benefit they are buying. In this case, if either one of them passed away, The full $500,000 would go to the survivor, Mary or Joe in this particular case, but an additional $1,000 would go to the charity they name. Ask them if there is a charity they volunteer at or donate to, and if so, would they like to name them for this? Mary and Joe are surprised by this. They had no idea life insurance companies would do such a thing, but they let you know to please put down the local Ronald McDonald House they volunteer at as the beneficiary. I'm just going to play you a short video that goes over this benefit. This is actually a consumer-facing video, so if you think this is something that would be useful for you as part of your digital interaction strategy, we will be happy to provide you with the links and the downloads. Let's take a look. So you ask them about their involvement with the Ronald McDonald House, and they tell you of a family friend whose son had childhood cancer, and they had to make use of that charity during the treatment process. Ever since, they have all made it a priority of theirs to take time to volunteer several times a year. They do things such as cooking meals for the family staying at the home, playing games with the kids to give the parents a break, and other activities. We're going to come back to this later. So it's policy delivery time, and at delivery, you can either do this with a digital PDF contract or a physical paper one, whichever the client prefers. You not only go through the purchase and make sure everything is as the client was expecting, such as is it the right product, the right beneficiaries, and so forth, but you go one step further. Once more, able to provide real value to Mary and Joe. You ask them, Mary and Joe, as first-time home buyers, did you have an opportunity to get your wills put in place? Mary and Joe's reply is pretty common. We wanted to, but after the $1,500 bill from the lawyers for just the house purchase, we really didn't have any extra for the $500 or so they were quoting for a will package. Here is your time to impress yet again. How would you like to have a completely complementary will, power of attorney, and healthcare directive for each of you? With the plan you purchased, you can simply go to myforesters.com and use the Law Assure system, and you can do all that at no extra cost. Tell you what, guys, let me follow up with you in a week or so to see how you get on with it and if you have any further questions. I'm going to show you again another video to give you an idea of what the Law Assure system looks like if you've never encountered it before.
Foresters financial members now have access to Law Assure, an easy-to-use digital document preparation service. Law Assure helps members take care of important matters such as drafting a power of attorney, creating a healthcare directive, and writing a will. Members can access this new complimentary benefit through myforesters.com. The Law Assure homepage presents a selection of topics to choose from. Once a topic is selected, the region selector can be used to choose the required province and see the available documents. Click Get Started and Law Assure presents a series of questions. The document is automatically created as questions are answered. Once complete, the document will appear on the My Documents page where they can easily be printed or exported into Word or PDF format. Documents can also be organized and stored securely in one place. Law Assure is one more way Foresters helps you meet the evolving needs of everyday families. Go to Blue Sky today for more information and helpful sales tools.
So this has given you an opportunity to add value, to impress, but most importantly, a reason to connect with them soon on a positive note. So let's do that. Follow through and call them as promised. Ask how their experience was with Law Assure. Let them know you have added the contact details of Ronald McDonald House to their client file so you know who to reach out to if a claim is ever needed. Now would be a great time to either directly ask for referrals or plant the seeds of the client type you are looking for. For example, Mary and Joe, thanks again for your business. And I wanted to ask if any of your friends are in a similar situation now or in the near future to think of me. I would love to help them with the insurance, but also the ability to get the wills and charity benefit put in place. Not every insurance advisor offers this particular company. So it's 6 months later. It's time to further deepen the relationship with your fledgling clients. We know that Mary and Joe volunteer at Ronald McDonald House and their reasons for doing so. One of the benefits they can easily make use of right away is the Foresters Care Grant. This benefit will allow Mary and Joe to both request up to $200 to do something positive and impactful for the families using the house. Why don't you give the charity a call first, however, and ask them what are the most pressing needs they have currently for donations. For example, would they find some extra supplies for the kitchen helpful? Do they need new board games for the children staying there? Once you've done that, call Mary and Joe again. Hi, Mary and Joe. Hope you're both keeping well. I was reviewing your file, seeing as it's been a few months since your purchase, and I wanted to ask if you are still supporting the Ronald McDonald House. Yes, they reply. That's great. I remember you opted to name them as the charity benefit under your plan, so I thought you might like to know, if you haven't already seen it, about the Foresters Care Grant. This allows both of you to each apply for up to $200 to purchase supplies that can be donated to them. Now, I actually gave them a call and they told me they really could use some extra food supplies and a few board games right now. Would you like me to explain how to access that benefit and get that started? What other person in their network has ever called them with news like that? How many people do you think they may talk to about this when they get the funds and deliver the supplies? How many of those people may get referred to you? This is a fantastic soft touch, which shows you think of them as more than a sale and that you looked for a way to support the community they are involved with. Now, this gives you a great opportunity to reach out every single year to remind them about the grant. Now, you can do this either personally with a phone call, or you could add them digitally speaking to your Foresters or Canada Protection Plan policyholder email group and set up an annual email around this particular topic. Now, I'm going to show you a video, and this is pulled straight from the Foresters Financial Facebook Care Grant page. Okay, so if you're on Facebook, just type in Foresters Care, and this is going to pop up, not this video, but the page for it. And literally on there are hundreds, if not thousands, of our policyholders, members posting videos, pictures from the 3 countries showing how they are using this $200 care grant. Just get and take a look. This is both personal and digital. Let's have a look together.
I have a policy with Canada Protection Plan. As a policy holder, I can apply and register for Foresters Financial, which are free benefits that they give you because you're just a holder of the policy. One of the free benefits is to get $200 grant so you can do something nice in your community. My daughters and I are gonna go to the grocery store and spend the $200 and donate it to the food bank. Let's go. This was such a great activity to do with my daughters and teach them to have compassion for those that are passing through difficult situations. Thank you so much to Foresters Financial and Canada Protection Plan for this amazing experience with the Foresters Care Grant. We want to do 200. Mother going to go get more?
This is so thoughtful, you guys. I've worked here for literally 2 years, and I don't think I've seen a single person put something in that bin.
Oh,
It's so nice.
that's great. We're gonna fill it right up. Thank you. Now let's go load it on that bin. Finished, and we spent over $200. It was really cool. Yeah. Yeah. So how much did we spend?
So we spent $200 and it was so much fun. We filled up 2 cars and then we filled up the basket in the food bank. We didn't even have to bring it to the food bank because they had been there for the food bank, and it was such a great experience. The cashier said that in 2 years of her working in there, she's never seen anybody doing that. So we want to thank Forester Financial for the benefit of the grant of help in my community. That was so thoughtful, so nice, so much fun, and we would love to do that again. I think it's a lot more fun to give than receive, and this made us feel really, really good. So thank you.
How cool was that? Unless they happen to be your clients, if you're an advisor on here and you recognize them, I'm going to hazard a guess that none of you probably have ever experienced a situation where you've provided somebody with insurance and then they've gone and gotten super excited with this policy because of these extra benefits, that they as a family made a video, posted it online, and shared their experiences. If that was your client, you would have been able to engage with that, reshare it, touch and connect the people that were interacting with it. What a phenomenally great story that just came out of this benefit that they got engaged with. And again, look at who that family was. It was a younger family with kids, quite likely why they were looking for the services of someone like yourself. What a phenomenal opportunity for you as an advisor to spread great things through the community and gain that branding back yourself as a positive change maker. It's wonderful. So some more time has now passed and a baby is born. Mary and Joe have had their first child, and they called you to let you know and to update their policy beneficiary to include Sarah. Now, they could have done this direct with the insurer. They could have called another advisor and you would have lost the following opportunity. But you took the time to earn their trust, to build a relationship and show them they are more than a transaction. Several important talking points arise. First, you remind them of law and Shaw and ask them if they have updated their wills to reflect the birth of Sarah and any wishes they want to put in, such as maybe naming a guardian. Secondly, you let them know about 2 benefits that now apply to their family. The first one is our Orphan Scholarship Program. So you can let Mary and Joe know that, hey, you bought insurance for those worst case situations. Thankfully, though, because it's a policy with Foresters or Canada Protection Plan, they go above and beyond. So in that worst case, if something were to happen to Mary and Joe or just one of the others, let's take, for example, Joe. Maybe he passes away of a car accident, although it doesn't require an accident. It could be any death, whether it be illness, accident is irrelevant. But Joe passes away. When Sarah goes on to post-secondary, there is now going to be $1,500 a year for 4 years there for Sarah to help her through that post-secondary education from a financial perspective. Now, if both Mary and Joe passed away, could be together, could be of separate things years apart, the benefit for Sarah would increase to $6,000 per year for 4 years each. And if it was a single parent family in the beginning situation, it's $3,000. And this is a benefit for all their children. So if Mary and Joe have any future children beyond Sarah, each one would be able to access these benefit amounts. The other benefit is our orphan benefit. So again, in the event that Sarah became orphan, so Mary and Joe both pass away, Foresters will start paying the legal guardian roughly 1 month after they prove to us they are the court-appointed legal guardian, which is going to be dramatically sped up because we had the wills naming them put in place through their benefits. Up to $900 a month per child goes to that legal guardian to help with the costs of raising this child. And these are all values over and above any insurance benefits. They don't come from the policy values. It's extra money. Ask Mary and Joe. So who is the guardian, if you don't mind me asking? Who did you name in the will? Ask if that person is also going to be named the trustee under the policy, as Sarah is still a minor when they wanted to add her as a beneficiary. Maybe ask if they'd be willing to introduce you to that guardian so that you can have a brief chat to explain how these two benefits can apply and provide them with your details. And ask permission to maintain theirs so you know who and how to reach them should a claim situation arise. This can result in an introduction to someone who very likely will need your help also. Because I think about it, typically who is the guardian of people's kids? It's usually an adult sibling, so Mary or Joe's brother or sister, who quite likely have need of your services. They may have kids of their own, or it might be Mary and Joe's parents, who quite likely have not done any estate planning, even if it's just basic things, but how am I going to pay for my funeral? Likely they don't have wills put in place. Again, something you may be able to help them with. So under this particular situation, let's go with Mary and Joe passing away and they leave Sarah orphaned at 3 years old. And again, I really do want to reiterate this because I know some policies in our world could have accident-only benefits. It's not accident only. Accident and illness can be the cause. But if Mary and Joe passed away as Sarah was 3 years old, $900 a month for 12 months is $10,800 a year times 15 years, $162,000 plus potentially, if she goes on to post-secondary for the full 4 years, $24,000 in scholarship, $186,000 of additional money paid to that family above and beyond any insurance benefit. That's per child. Maybe they have another child before this tragic accident. Those values would double. Real value when it's needed most at no extra cost beyond the premiums you had shown them. Lastly, you have the opportunity to inquire if they want to make any changes to their overall insurance plan. Although they did purchase some additional coverage up front with the expectation of a child in their future, it's worth a reevaluation to see if changes should occur. Now, as it turns out, they want to start looking at some permanent coverage and would like to see what it costs to get started. They're now both 33 and still in good health. Now, you show them they could either convert some of their current term plans, keeping an overall total of $500,000, or they could buy some top-up coverage instead. Now, they feel comfortable adding $50,000 Advantage Plus per whole life on 20 pay using our enhanced dividends because it helps keep the premium very affordable. This costs roughly $60 each for their own policy. So $119 in total a month for them both to have a 20 pay whole life. Once again, though, you have some more great news for them. Just like with their term plans, they can name a charity for the charity benefit. They decide to stick with Ronald McDonald House. But the good news doesn't stop there. At no extra cost, Sarah is covered for $6,000 of term life insurance, no questions asked, $3,000 per parent policy. Now, later in life, Sarah, as a young adult, if she wants, could convert that term plan into permanent insurance without any medical evaluation, up to $20,000, $10,000 per parental policy. Now, I want to really stress, this is at no extra cost. It's not a rider. You don't do anything. It's a contractual feature. Even if Sarah was 100% completely and totally uninsurable, this will cover her from day one, no deferrals, in full, full stop. You could literally throw any possible condition at me and I will say covered. That's how it works. Okay, so I really want to stress that. Any child that might need coverage will get it under the parent's plan with this feature. If they want some extra coverage like full child riders or standalone whole life, that's a whole separate thing to look into. But at least it's good to know that this is there for parents, no extra cost, no underwriting, all well and good. What a great feature. So does this all interest you yet? Do you think you could start developing new connections and new opportunities with the added values of member benefits and taking a little extra time to connect the dots? Well, let's take it one step further, or maybe 2 or 3 with Foresters Go. This is our latest and newest member benefit. So take the time, remind Mary and Joe about it. It's a fun way to stay active, learn new skills, and engage with the community. You can let them know that by using this, they can actually earn points by going on a walk, going on a bike ride, going on a kayak, all the various physical activity things. They can also earn points by learning how to meditate, doing some yoga, learning how to sleep better, breathe better. There are courses and coaches that will help guide people through those sorts of programs, and you can earn points for doing all that. They can also earn points by giving back. If they do a Foresters community event, whether it's one they host or one they just volunteer at that someone else is doing, they can earn points for that too. And those points can be converted into real world prizes, Amazon gift cards, TVs, etc., etc. But what's really neat about this is they can also change it into cash donations for charities. So they may well want to go and donate all their points to Ronald McDonald House as a donation. There are about 8,000 charities loaded into this thing already. They can also create their own challenges if they want. So they can create, for example, their own running challenge and invite members and people in their community to be a part of it. They can do a photo challenge. For example, Foresters, corporately speaking, puts on challenges through here as well. There was one they did for, I think, what was it? It was spring, yes, I'm forgetting the season because it was snowing here just now. It was the spring photo challenge. And get outside, just take a picture of what that most means to you. And they were giving away hundreds of dollars through this. It was like the top 100 people with the most likes on all different pictures got anywhere from $25 to $100 in points to use however they want. It's a really neat system. It is not connected in any way, shape, or form to the client's policy. Whether they choose to use it or not, whether they engage with it a lot or don't, will not affect their premiums at all. So it's a bit different in that regard. You as an advisor, if you chose to become a Foresters member, you could also get this app. It would allow you to stay highly engaged with your clients in your community. You can do all these things too. You could choose to create a challenge, invite your policyholders who are Foresters members to it, and stay engaged. It can form both part of your digital and personal interaction strategy with your clients, way beyond being simply an advisor. Let's take a look at a little video to give you a little idea of it.
Check it out.
It really is a kind of fun, unique kind of way of getting engaged with people, whether it be just to show them how this will provide value in their terms of wellness or learning new things and new skills, or for you as an advisor, if you chose to become a member, to use this app that's being paid for. You don't have to pay a penny beyond your policy premiums to stay engaged within your Foresters and Canada Protection Plan member base. Can add fantastic value to you as a business owner as well. Now, the purpose of this slide is not to say this is what you should use or shouldn't use, because it has probably changed within the 40 minutes since I began speaking as to which one's the most popular. I see a glaring error that TikTok isn't on there, for example. This is just to show you that a lot of people use social media, as I'm sure you are well aware. But what I really want to drive home to you is it's not about you should be using one, that one, or this one. Use the ones that work for your personality and style. If you think you'd like to go out and make videos, whether it be about your business or just things you like to do, or a combination of both, and use that as a way to outreach potential clients, maybe YouTube is the way to go. Facebook is maybe something you're more comfortable and familiar with. The point of this is just to say, as part of your digital interaction strategy, using some or all of the various media platforms and start to play around, see which one works for you. More importantly, see which ones your prospective clients are engaging with you on. Those would be the ones to continue to develop and grow. However, just like business, things change and evolve and adapt. You might right now be very comfortable with a particular platform or platforms. Are you seeing the results you're expecting? If not, is it potentially because you're doing the post and hope? You stick something on and then you sit back and wait. Or is it because perhaps the platform you're using is not the right one for the client type you're looking to find? Play around with these things, adapt with them, change as they change. See which ones fit your business model at any given point in your career cycle. So why would somebody care about Foresters? What might motivate their purchase decision with you if you recommend our products to them? Well, not surprisingly, given how long I've been working with Foresters and have seen it firsthand through going out and volunteering, people like to give back. Not everybody knows how to. They're unsure how to connect into these things. And it might seem really simple, but if there's a barrier in the way, people sometimes will not spend the time to get past that barrier. We make it easy and simple. You can help guide them through it if you choose. But when all is said and done, a huge proportion of the population, regardless of their age, like to support companies that have a meaningful, real give back ethic and drive. And just by showing them the good works that Foresters does in the communities, for example, right here in Calgary, the very first week I joined Foresters, I was sent out into a neighborhood to go build a full-size school playground that Foresters paid for. There are 3 of them here in Calgary. There's 2, maybe 3 in Edmonton. They're all over the country, all through USA. One example, the scholarships, the orphan benefits, the simple $200 a month community grant they can do to give back and make an immediate impact speaks to them having the ability to engage with that purpose and not be a bystander who just happens to have a policy. It changes the story, it changes the emotional connection to what otherwise is a nebulous piece of paper or PDF that they have purchased. Did you have a single transaction? Or did you foster a client relationship? Did you meet the client, evaluate the need and sell the product? Did you watch them walk out, likely never to see them again? Or did you volunteer and have a shared experience? Did you get to understand their interests and learn why they volunteer? Well, of course you did. That's amazing, right? You evaluated their needs, sold them the appropriate products, and you delighted them with a charity benefit that aligned to their values. You showed them how to potentially address their wills, powers of attorney, and healthcare directives. You've kept in touch, and you've showed them you care by introducing them to the Foresters Care Grants. You got to meet their new daughter, Sarah, and you provided them with new coverage and showed them how they could name a guardian in their wills. Now, because of this, you are introduced to those guardians who became new clients. You decide to become a member yourself, and you stay in touch with many of your clients using Foresters Go. One of those is a footnote, the other a story. I know which I find more interesting. How about you? So as we begin to wrap up our time here together, I just want to dig into a few extra little pieces on the Advantage Plus participating whole life. I'm not going to do a really deep dive into the whole product. We're just going to pull out a couple of key features that you don't find elsewhere that could certainly help you in any demographic, but potentially quite a bit in this millennial market as well. The first one is our Quit Smoking Incentive Plan. Many people have given up smoking. But what's interesting, within the younger demographics, millennial and below, there are those that gave up smoking, or maybe never was in the first place, but regardless of how they came to it, they came to vaping. We all know that became quite popular. What the average consumer does not realize is, well, now you are a smoker. Now, I'm going to take marijuana off the table. It's a whole other conversation. Yes, we do non-smoker rates for marijuana users and things like that. Let's just go with regular smokers for the time being and the purpose of this. So what does it do? Well, you have a client who's a smoker, regardless of the why. So you quote them as a smoker in the illustration software. And yet the price you're going to find, how is it that Foresters is so much lower than all the other carriers I'm looking at? I must have made a mistake. Well, so long as you've quoted them as a smoker in the software, no, you have not. It's because of this feature, the Quit Smoking Incentive Plan. What it does is it gives your client right up front the non-smoker rate, or a very heavily reduced one, depending on the dividend they're picking, for 2 years. In the third year, if they haven't actually given up smoking, the rate goes back up to regular smoker, but we're very clear. You are going to see it quite obviously in the illustration. It shows them, here's what it's going to be if you don't give up. But what's great about it is it's still lower than pretty much every company's today rate. So it's not like we'll get you now and then we'll get you later. No, we're going to encourage you in, and you will still see that in the third year, the rate is still lower than pretty much everybody's rate they're going to give you right now. It's basically hard to lose in this situation. Let's take a look at an example. So here we've got two 30-year-olds. They want $100,000 each. John and Cindy, standard smokers, 20-pay enhanced option dividend. Company A is a really good par whole life in the market, quite a popular one. You can see their rates. This is annual, as you can see. But then look at Foresters premium. How is it so much lower? Look at those savings over 2 years. They're significant. Almost $1,800 for John and almost $1,100 for Cindy. If they keep that lower rate over the 20-year pay cycle, they are saving a combined amount of, what are we talking about? Like $28,000, $29,000. That's staggering. But what if they don't quit or are unable to fulfill that because it's tricky? Well, you can see our premium as it will go up to in year 3. Which we show your client right up front. They will know what this will be. It's still significantly lower than the other company's today rate, and it's 3 years later. So even in that example, they still save $18,500 as a couple over the 20 years. What's not to like? And it's not that hard to keep the rates. I mean, giving up smoking can be tough, but beyond that, we're not reopening the entire underwriting can of worms. So we send them the you have not used all the listed thing in the last year. If they can honestly sign that, we're going to get a urine sample to test for those things. And if it's all good, they keep the lower rate moving forward. A really powerful feature. So if you have smoker clients, I would ask you, take a look at Foresters as part of the opportunity on the permanent plans. This is not part of the term or CI, but if they're looking for permanent solutions, this might enable you to land that deal rather than being put off by the price. We're going to show you a slightly older chap here, male age 40, 50,000, showing you the 20-pay and the life pay. Exact same scenario going on in all other regards as to what you're seeing on the screen. But I just wanted to show you what the life pay also looked like. Same story unfolds. Thousands of dollars in savings over the life of the payment period, regardless of whether they lock in the rate and keep it, or they are unable to give up and have that slight increase. It's still a huge deal. And I show you this because this is a smaller policy. But in that average demographic, they're not usually buying huge policies because money can be tight. They've got a family. They might like to get started, but it can be cost prohibitive if they're smokers. We are going to be able to give you that foot in the door that might get the conversation actually moving into an application and completion for you. So again, I would encourage you, if you've not really used us before or you weren't aware of this feature, please do take a look. We can really help you and bring value to your business and your client with this particular feature. Okay. So more with membership. We spent some time going through the life of Mary and Joe and then Sarah, and how the different member benefits and product features evolved, adapted, and changed, and gave you opportunities through that journey. And that was just a small piece of our entire member benefit platform. We have so many more. It's beyond the scope of today's presentation to go into them. But if you haven't heard of these before, let's just quickly encapsulate some of them. So we talked about Foresters Go, Law Assure, our Orphan program, and Foresters Care. Did you know we also have competitive scholarships where we give out around $2 to $2.5 million every single year in competitive scholarships? That's huge. $2 to $2.5 million in competitive scholarships alone. We have our member deals where our clients can access kind of like it's a website where if they're looking to buy things, iPads, Disney tickets, they can usually get them at a discount. We have our lifelong learning program that allows members to go online to an online platform and learn entirely new skills, whether it be practical, how to use Excel, how to fill out a resume, how to be a better business leader or customer service person, those sorts of things. And those are all on there, all the way through to things a little bit lifestyle orientated. I want to learn things that will just improve my day-to-day living experience. Those are all on there too. Over 200 courses in both French and English, no charge at all, that they can take at their own leisure, at their own time, to improve themselves as they may wish. We saw what an impact a little $200 grant can make. What if we 10x'd it and went it up to $2,000? Well, yes, you can. We have the community volunteer granting opportunity, which allows every member to apply 3 times a year for up to $2,000 each time. Takes a bit more work. That's why we like to focus on Foresters Care. People get into it with that and then build themselves up into how to run a volunteer-led activity, but it makes a massive impact. And we have more benefits beyond that. If you'd like to learn more about all of those and how you can use them to start conversations, to build meaningful relationships, reach out to us and we would love to connect you with the relevant salesperson for your area and help you learn and understand all those. So with that, I'm going to close. I'd like to thank you very much for your time. It's been a pleasure to spend an hour or so with you. I hope you gained something out of that, maybe something a little bit different than you were expecting. I'm going to pause the presentation, stick on my camera again, so you can see my older face than I was in that video. I've got a lot more gray these days, but that's okay. So let's end that. Al, Shirley, did you see any questions that you feel like we should maybe address to the wider audience?
Actually, a lot of comments about how advisors didn't know about the benefits, how they could be used. The charity benefit was of great support in the chat, as well as the granting and the Foresters Care grant, that instant $200 grant that you can take advantage of. You get the funds within a week, and you run that event that you want to, helping any community participation that you want to. It's really a quick and simple grant to apply and get. So not so much questions, just they didn't know about all these great benefits that you were discussing.
Well, good. I'm glad we were able to bring something a little new to you, hopefully, and give you some insight. So as I said, please don't be shy. Think about if this made an impact, if this is something you want to learn how to do, please reach out maybe to AL or Shirley, depending where you're based. Let us help you put this into practice so that you can start making a difference from a business and a community perspective. So I guess we will end it there. We thank you very much and hope you enjoy the rest of your university day here.
Thanks, everyone. Take care.
Bye, guys.